Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see you connected. Today, we're going to finish a series of WebExes in preparation of the implementation of the transportation module that kicks off next Monday. Today, we're going to see some of the Let me present myself. I am Elena Carrasco, and together with me is my colleague David Redondo. The objective of this session is to review the system integration points between inter and intra-mission transfer of goods who are executed in ECC in Umoja and the Umoja transportation module called CM. The process of creating STRs and STO actually is not going to change with the implementation of TM. What we are going to review here is what are the fields that have an impact in the following documents in TM. But actually the process remains as you are doing currently. Basically, we need to focus on the following points, which are the source entity, plant and storage location of the issuing mission, the combination of Incoterm rules and purchasing group, the receiving entity, the plant and the storage location. If you are attending this WebEx, it's because you either have the roles of RD14, Local Supply Chain Coordinator, or RD13, Global Supply Chain Coordinator. This is a short one. We're going to spend approximately 15 minutes. And please, if you have any comment, use the Q&A text box. You will find the icon of Q&A on the top right part of your screen. And then you can type any comments. David will be reading and answering your comments. So what brings the implementation of the TM module to your STRs and STOs? As I said, the process remains the same. It's just some fields that acquire some more relevance due to its impacts in the documents created in the transportation module. And let's see what are they. We have two columns here. We have ECC, where we create the STOs, and we have TM module, where we create the DTR, delivery transportation requirements, freight unit, and freight orders. In the STOs, we need to insert the issuing storage location. And this is going to, through the master data, it's going to drive the shipper address and the source address in TM. Remember, it is derived from the storage location via master data. In other words, please do not type the data manually, otherwise TM module will not pick up. Use always the matchbox next to the text fields. This is a screenshot of an example of where to insert the issuing storage location. In this case, in the screenshot is engineering in El Fasher. As I said, do not type, just use the matchbox. The storage location will derive the issuing storage location in the outbound delivery document, and is actually the outbound delivery document who is going to derive the shipper address in TM. This is a screenshot of a freight unit in TM and the source location of a freight unit. As you see, these are in both fields. It is grayed out, meaning that it's not editable field. That's why it's very important that you, as RD13 or RD14, insert the data correctly and do not type it. Then it will be moved into documents in TM, and in these documents, the data are not editable. Moreover, I just wanted to let you know that the address that appears in the STO, in the address tab, is not deriving any address in the TM. So it's important that, as I said, the issue and storage location, who is going to derive the address in the outbound delivery document, and then it is going to be replicated in the address in a document called DTR, who is actually a copy of the inbound delivery, but in Umoja TM. And then from the DTR is going to be derived into the freight unit and the freight orders. So please review that this address here is accurate as well, but for your information, what is important is the issuing storage location. Then another issue that I wanted to bring your attention to is that the number of different delivery dates that an STO will have will derive on the number of outbound delivery documents that ECC is going to create. And the number of outbound delivery documents is going to determine the number of DTRs and freight units. Outbound delivery document in ECC is what is DTRs in TM module. So if the relationship is 1-to-1, as I said, outbound delivery document, it's replicated in a form of delivery transportation requirement in TM. It is expected to have one shipment per each STO. If there is the need of two shipments, when adopting materials from the STR, they will be split at the STO creation. So it's a good practice to have one shipment per STO. One shipment, one outbound delivery, then one DTR and one freight unit. Then another important field, very important field, is with regards to the Incoterm rules that you are going to populate in the STOs. So we have different scenarios. We have scenarios where we select Incoterm rules DAP and at a location, and then we need to combine it with a purchasing group of the issuing entity. So DAP and purchasing group of the issuing entity will mean that is the issuing entity who is going to be in charge of planning the routes and the legs of the materials to be transported between missions or in a mission, intra-mission. This is also something I wanted to let you know. Please use STOs for intermission transfers and also for intra-mission transfers. In any of the cases, when you use DAP, you need to select the purchasing group of the issuing entity, and it will mean that the issuing entity is going to plan, arrange transportation and routes for the shipment. This will derive in TM in the planning and execution group of the issuing plant. In other words, the Incoterm rules that we select in the STO, in this example is the AP Bunia Airport, together with the purchasing group of the issuing entity, is going to determine what entity and what roles are going to have visibility on this order in order to plan and manage the transportation, the routes and the legs of the materials to be transported. As I said, there is one planning and execution group for the STOs per mission. So all the roles mapped, all the roles TS07 mapped to a mission will be able to have visibility on the materials to be transported, and they will be able to arrange the transportation, the means of transportation and the routes. And if this happens, it's because of the combination of the Incoterm rule DAP and the purchasing group of the issuing entity. When we select the AP location and purchasing group of UNGSC, then the TM planning and execution group will be UNGSC. So they will be able to arrange transportation for the intermission transfers. They will have visibility of all the materials to be transported, and they will plan accordingly. In Brindisi, you have a special case where you have different purchasing groups. You have purchasing groups separated by commodities. These will be transformed into, all the purchasing group, all the commodities will be visible by all the roles CS07. So all the planners in TM will be able to plan any type of commodities. It's not separated by commodity type as purchasing group. And then when you select Xworks Incoterms rules, and then you need to select the purchasing group of the receiving entity. Why? Because when you select Xworks and the purchasing group of the receiving entity, it means that the receiving entity is going to arrange transportations for the material. It means that the planners of the receiving entity need to have visibility on the materials to be transported so they can plan accordingly. Is it clear that the combination of Incoterm rules needs to be according to the purchasing group of the sending or receiving entity, so the materials are visible in TM? Yes, there are no comments. Local supply chain coordinator or global supply chain coordinator adds the relevant Incoterm and Incoterm location. And in this case, the concept of Incoterm does not refer a commercial agreement, but it refers to the segregation of responsibilities, who is going to plan the transportation for the materials. The Incoterm added at the header level will have an impact on what plant plans the transportation and will submit the event in TM. For example, when we select Incoterm rules DAP, is the supplying plant who plans for the transportation. If we select Incoterm rules Xworks, it will be the receiving plant who plans for the transportation. The Incoterm location selected indicates the final destination or pickup location in case if it's Xworks for the carriers. As you see, there is nothing new compared to what you are doing currently. What is new is that depending on the Incoterm and purchasing group, one entity or another will have visibility on the materials. So there is no change from your side, but there is a very important impact in TM with regards to the selection of the Incoterm. With regards to the receiving plant and receiving storage location, it has impacts in TM. It impacts in the form of consignee address and destination location. This is a screenshot of the receiving plant and storage location that you insert in the STO. This is at the item level in the STO of the receiving plant. In this example is MONUSCO. It will be replicated in TM as consignee address and destination. Here again is like the issuing address. It's not a editable field, so TM planners will not be able to change it. That's why it's very important that you make the correct selection by using the matchbox. The impact is not only that it appears there and it's not editable. The impact is based on the transportation network, which is master data. Umoja is going to calculate the origin and the destination of the materials to be transported. Therefore, it's going to calculate departure dates, arrival dates. It's going to calculate different transportation routes. It's going to propose the best route and it's going to propose as well an estimated charges. So the impacts are crucial of the issuing and receiving storage location and plans. Lastly, you will see that in the outbound delivery document, you will see a tab called TM status tab, and it's where all TM related documents are going to be listed. So in an outbound delivery document, you click on the TM status tab, you will see, as you see here, all related TM documents. So you will see outbound delivery that you are familiar with already, begins with 800, and then you will see the DTR document that begins with 11. As I said, it's just a replication of the outbound delivery in the TM module. And then you will see a series of documents created in the TM module, which are, for example, freight unit and a number of freight orders. Freight orders represent the leg of the routes. So depending on the issuing plant and storage location, receiving plant and storage location, TM is going to propose a route, and the route will have different legs, and the legs are represented as freight orders in the system. This is what I wanted to remind you about. David wants to make some comments. David?
Thank you, Elena. Just to add something, could you please go back to the slide of the Incoterm? Yeah.
This one?
The next one, actually. Yeah. So just to mention and to reinforce the message that Elena was giving, that in terms of process, the STO process is not changing, but just to insist on the fact that now with the implementation on TM, you will need to select the Incoterm. That I'm not sure if you were already selecting Incoterm in the STO. And this is very, very, very important, as Elena was explaining, because this Incoterm will enable the transportation management system to plan transportation, basically. So apart from the storage location that is receiving, the issuing storage location that Elena was explaining, please be aware that from now on, when you're processing STOs, it's very important that you indicate properly what is called Incoterm there. That is not like the commercial agreement, but it's used for the system to know if it's the receiving mission or the sending mission who is actually planning the transportation. And then you have scenarios that could be DAP, as you can read in the screen, where there is the supplying plant who is planning transportation, or if it's in the case of XWorks, EXW, then it's the receiving plant, right? And this is very important together with the Incoterm location that you can also read in the screen, that these two fields are essential and crucial for the implementation of transportation management. People from MoveCon typically, and also from procurement, will have problems managing transportation if in the STO, these fields are not indicated or they are not properly marked. Okay, is that clear? If you have any question, remember you can go with the mouse to the top menu and enter your questions on the Q&A. So, but this is very important. This is a slide that Elena prepared for you. It's very important to keep in mind. And an additional note, very, very important, because it might change part of the mindset that you have in the mission. In case of intermission STO, more or less it's clear because you are already doing it. So just remember you need to specify the Incoterm and the Incoterm location. But for intramission transportation of goods, so intramission, very important from now on that the STO is processed. Now, so far, I think you were performing, or in the mission, you were performing this using Migo transaction, right, Elena, with one step or 2 steps. But please be aware that from now on, STO is needed, is required for intra-mission transfer of stock. And if it's not processed as an STO, it will not be possible to manage transportation. And then in the TM module, nothing will appear. If you have any question, you have a local process expert in TM that was recently certified in your mission, and during the deployment, they can clarify for you. But these 2 main messages are very important for you to share. First, intra-mission STOs, they require STO. And the second, you always have to specify the Incoterm and Incoterm location when processing the STO to have a proper impact and integration with TM. This is what the message I wanted to repeat that Elena already mentioned, but just to emphasize that. Over to you, Elena.
Okay. Lastly, let's see if there is someone that is not fully aware with how an STO looks like. And then we will see how it looks in TM. Okay, this is an STO. In this scenario is UNAMID is the supplying plant, and it's MONUSCO receiving the material. This is the material. So what are the important fields? The Incoterm. As we said, if the Incoterm is ex works UNAMID El Fasher, it means that it will be MONUSCO arranging for the transportation. This is something you need to think about, that it makes sense, the combination of Incoterms and purchasing group. So in this case, UNAMID has agreed with MONUSCO that MONUSCO will arrange the transportation, or is bringing this. No, okay, it's not MONUSCO, it's Iraq, sorry, it's Iraq. So between UNAMID and Iraq, with the advice of UNGSC, it has been decided that it will be Iraq managing the transportation. Okay, so they have agreed that Incoterms rules that they are going to use is S-Works El Fasher. Here we have the address of the plant, the mission, Khartoum, but actually what is going to be derived into the outbound delivery is the address set in the storage location of El Fasher. Then here we see that the receiving plant is the storage location of UNAMI in Iraq. Please, as we said, use the matchbox. Don't type it manually. Later on the right, you will have the information of the issuing storage location in El Fasher. This is straightforward. Nothing changes. This is the delivery address with regards to this line. This STO has only one line. And in organizational data is where the purchasing group has to be in line with the mission that is going to organize the transportation. Why? Because the purchasing group is deriving the users that are going to have visibility in TM module to arrange for transportation. Okay, this is the main points. Now let's go and see how it looks in the TM module. I'm going to log in TM so you can have a view. The user is this one. and you will see the impacts of your STOs and how the transportation planners are going to see them. They will go into this screen, they will run a report to see what are the transport that needs to be planned and managed. In this case, they will grab either from the outbound delivery or the DTR, the information. And this is how they are going to see the data that you enter. As you see, example here in Business Partner, in the DTR, they are going to see data based on the issuing storage location and receiving storage location. And as you see, these fields are not editable. In case it's not correct, what they need to do is to delete all documents and to edit the STOs. That's why it's important that it's accurate from the beginning. This is the DTR document that collects all the information that the outbound delivery document has. Here we have the Incoterm, but actually they are going to work on other documents, which are the freight unit. Freight unit represents the set of materials that are going to be transported from end-to-end points. And these are the freight units, the freight orders, sorry, which represents the different legs that where the freight unit is going to run from the origin to the destination. What the TM planners are going to do is to work on a freight unit. They will need to select the freight unit and they will search for the different options for the routes, select the most appropriate one. What they see here, most of the fields are not editable, and the fields we mentioned in the STO are not editable for them. That's why we wanted to let you know just before the 2nd of December that you need to pay extra attention to these fields. As you see here, the shipper is the storage location, the issuing storage location, the consignee is the receiving storage location, etc. If the user is able to see this information is because of the purchasing group that you selected in the STO. In this case, you selected the purchasing group of UNAMI, so this user mapped to UNAMI plant is able to see it. If you select a wrong purchasing group, then the planners in UNAMI will not be able to see this STO and they will not be able to manage the transportation. Okay. This is what I wanted to let you know. If you have any comments, please let us know. We are not so many, so you can also unmute yourself. Have any comment?
So we have no questions in the Q&A panel. So I remind you, if you want to ask something, if that's a good moment, you can go with the mouse to the top bar and enter your questions there. And fortunately, I think you cannot unmute yourself, but if you want to ask, you can click on the hand and we will unmute you. Otherwise, I think the message was clearly explained. The STO has an integration process with the transportation management module that is going to be implemented from next week. So you will see that different people from MoveCon and from procurement taking care of the freight might be requesting you to review your STOs if you forget to enter this key information. Remember, the purchasing group, as I was saying, the Incoterm location and the Incoterm itself is important. If you don't know, you have to clarify what mission is taking care of the transportation. And very important from now on, in order to manage transportation for intra-mission transfer of stock, if transportation is involved, if you are moving items from one warehouse to another one in a different location, you have to start using intra-mission STOs. So that was clearly the message. I think that's all. So there is a question Don't worry, we will send the presentation after this, after we finish, and you will receive also the recording of this WebEx next week, right? So all the material will be sent.
Also next week, there will be other WebExes. And please, if you did not attend the WebEx yesterday on inbound and outbound delivery impacts, I invite you to watch the video or see the presentation, as we spoke about how to pack. And this applies as well to the outbound delivery, okay? The impacts on the delivery date and the packing that you do in the outbound delivery, how it is transmitted into the TM module. This was seen yesterday, and the video is already in our YouTube channel, and the presentation has been circulated. If you haven't received it, please shoot us an email and we will send it to you. Thank you, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.